Ah, my battery's about to die. That's not a good start, is it? Today is the 2nd of February and I am officially 19 or 20 days postpartum. I'm losing track and the days are all merging into one. I just know it's a Monday of week 6 of the year. I have finally surpassed my 2-week postpartum or post-surgery rest period, if you will. And I am now allowed to restart very gentle exercises, which includes walking or very basic calisthenics and stretches and mobility work. I basically have to keep to the same rules that I had in the 3rd trimester, which is I'm not allowed to overexert myself. I'm not allowed to do full training exercise, but I am allowed to do something to keep me mobile and to keep me energized. And considering I do want to get back into calisthenics or get into calisthenics in general, and I am very much back being a beginner, both in calisthenics and running after being pregnant for 9 months, and really struggling to actually maintain much of my calisthenics or any calisthenics whatsoever. And especially after being pregnant for 9 months and not being able to train in the way I wanted due to a lot of different things. That would, like, if you actually want to see that, go back and check my pregnancy diaries videos. It was a hectic few months. It was a hectic 9 months and I didn't have a lot of time or energy. Regardless of that, we are still undecided if we want a second child. Quite now, we are more than happy with just the one. With that being said, I do want to try and get fitter and healthier, especially being at the age of 37. I'm going to have a 13-year-old running around just before I turn 50. In fact, no, you'd be about 12, just short of 12, something around there. Either way, I'm going to have a kid when I'm just about to turn 50. So I want to get fit and healthy to make sure that I can keep up with my son more than anything, who is currently around 20 days old. And he's being a little angel right now. He's actually due a feed and his dad's just finished his training for the day. And so now it's my turn to get some training in for the day. But first I need to get changed because I've been living in pyjamas for pretty much the last 2 weeks with the exception of a couple of walks. And unfortunately I don't feel like training in my pyjamas because, you know, training when you're braless at my size is not comfy. In regards to what training we're actually going to do, I am going to start at the very basics of calisthenics. Like I said, I'm not allowed to push myself, I'm not allowed to go over the top, I just have to start very minimal and basically have the same sort of mentality as I did in the 3rd trimester, where I don't over push myself but I can still do some sort of training. So we are going to do what we started back in 2024, which is go back to the very basics of calisthenics with push-ups, squats, hollow holds, and all the other little bits and bobs, tricep dips and all that lot. So I'm going to start with the very basic calisthenics. I'm not going to do more than one set of 5, maybe one set of 10 of each. And I'm also just going to do a little bit of mobility work just to help my hips and some hip strengthening because I've got a lot of weaknesses in my hips after being pregnant for 9 months. So that's what we're going to do today. That's how we're starting. We are starting with the very basic calisthenic moves and starting to build up our strength in preparation for week 6, which is 4 weeks away, or week 6 postpartum, which is 4 weeks away, when I can actually start training properly.
it'll be good. That was not food.
And there we go, that is me done for day one, or what's pretty much day one of the restart of me trying to get back into calisthenics as a complete and utter beginner. Oh, starting with the very basics. When my 6 weeks postpartum is up and I can start exercising properly again, I'm going to be going back to the Tom Morrison mobility method or simplistic mobility method, and possibly back to the hybrid calisthenics to build up more strength. But I am basically going to be sticking to the calisthenics basics for the next 4 weeks and see whether or not it does actually help me like it did back in 2024. But we will see. That is currently just the goal, is going on regular walks like we did today. I went on a walk to the shops with Jace, and then doing a little bit of calisthenics at least 3 times a week. Today was day one and we did it, so I've got 2 more sessions to try and get in this week. Hopefully we will. And I've got to try and do it around sleep deprivation and around mum duties, which thankfully Jason is here to help me for at least the next 3 to 4 weeks. And then there's gonna have to be a time when I start learning how to do everything on my own. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, that's day one done. So it's currently the 7th of February and little Minion is now 3 weeks and 2 days old. It has been very interesting to actually watch how quickly he's growing. He's shooting through his clothes so much. He's growing so fast, we can't keep up. I can't keep up. And if I'm being really honest, I'm struggling. I am struggling, but not because of Minion. I'm not struggling in being a mother. I'm struggling battling my own body. I was so proud and so excited about the fact that I had the ability to breastfeed and that I could breastfeed and that I was producing more than enough to actually feed him until he started gorging himself in milk, and apparently that was actually part of his growth spurt this last week. But this last week I have struggled. I have broke down into tears on multiple occasions. Not because of Minion, it's not his fault, but because of my own body. I am constantly in pain at the moment in some way, shape or form. I know part of it is because of lack of exercise and lack of mobility and lack of training, because at the moment I am literally waking up, eating, pumping and going back to sleep. Waking up, eating, pumping, going back to sleep, with some care of Minion in between, but Jason is currently doing the majority of the care. But because of that, I am very tense in my back. My back is killing me. The extra weight from my chest, because my boobs get so engorged, is really hurting my upper back. And Jason has finally come downstairs. My hips are hurting because I'm spending so much time sat down while pumping. Because I'm actually struggling to stay awake long enough to do anything, I'm not having much time to actually go out and go on walks. My stamina is shot, so anytime we try and walk to the shops, my legs are killing me, my glutes are killing me, my hamstrings are killing me. But the worst part of it all is my boobs and my nipples. My boobs get so full and so engorged that they are agony. They are genuinely 2 12 weight bowling balls on my chest. It is painful. especially first thing in the morning when they are full and I am trying to get out of bed and it is literally dragging my skin from where my boobs are connected to my chest because they're so heavy. But the worst pain of all is my nipples. I am still really struggling. I can't remember how much of it I mentioned in the last mini newborn vlog, but the worst problem at the moment is my nipples. My nipples are constantly stinging or stabbing or hurting in some way, shape or form, and it's driving me insane. Anytime they touch something, they sting or burn. Anytime they brush against something like clothing, they sting and burn. Anytime Minion accidentally kicks them because when he's on my chest and I'm burping him, or he's just cuddling and then moves his leg and accidentally catches them, they sting and burn. Anytime I try and feed him, they sting and burn. Even when I'm pumping, at the first 20-30 seconds they sting and burn. It is constant and it is relentless and it is absolute agony. And I have broke down into tears countless times because of the constant tormenting pain. After countless midwives looking and checking and not finding anything wrong with me, and after even consulting infant feeding specialists and them not being able to work out why it's causing me so much pain, they finally referred me to their infant feeding lead. She's got 20 years experience in midwifery. She's been doing infant feeding for the last 10 years and from what they said, she's seen it all. And after speaking to her firsthand, she really has seen it all. She has dealt with women with chests of my size and she has been able to give me so much advice and so much help. But unfortunately, it looks as though I have Raynauds. For those of you that don't know what Raynauds is, it is basically shrinking of the blood vessels anytime certain parts of your body get cold. Usually it's the hands and the feet, which I have been known to get extremely cold hands and feet. You can ask Jason, he quite literally gets frozen to death in winter when my hands and my feet turn into ice blocks. But apparently it also affects breastfeeding because the veins in your nipples, or the veins where your nipples are, shrink and contract, and it's known as Vasospasm or Vasospasm, something like that, where the blood vessels around your nipples or in your nipples contract so tight that it quite literally causes pain. And apparently that's what I have. I have vasospasms where the blood vessels in my nipples shrink to non-existent levels when they are cold and causes agonizing pain. And apparently this is something that the infant feeding lead also experienced during her pregnancy, and she agrees it is sheer agony and torture. There is no other way to describe it. It is literally torture. I can't do anything without being in some kind of pain throughout the day. On top of that, because I'm on this endless cycle of trying to pump and trying to do this and trying to do that, I'm not getting a very good sleep pattern in, I'm not getting a good sleep schedule, so I'm actually experiencing cluster headaches and exhaustion headaches and dehydration headaches right now, and it's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with in a very short space of time, and it has made me quite overwhelmed on several occasions. We are slowly battling through it. We're slowly trying to find ways to help me and to help things get easier and a bit less painless. I do know that one of the things to make me a little less painless is to do some exercise and stretches. Like, one of the issues I'm having is tension in my back from weight, so I need to build up the strength in my back and also just stretch the muscles from being in the same overstretched position all the time. But that is easier said than done because trying to find time to exercise is so slim at the moment. But the hardest part is actually wearing a bra, because I need to wear a bra to exercise, especially when I'm filming, because I don't make that kind of content. I am not exercising with my boobs flapping all over the place. I need to wear a bra to exercise, but my boobs are so painful. Like, my nipples are so painful for any kind of material to touch them. I have to wear silver nipple cups constantly just to prevent pain from my nipples touching clothing. Trying to put them in a bra is nearly impossible. I tried earlier today and it was so freaking painful because my boobs were getting gradually engorged, and then maternity bras are so freaking flimsy, they just flick off as soon as your boobs reach a certain size. It's irritating and it's frustrating and it's annoying, and I'm just having to deal with it as best as I can. I'm actually very tempted to go back to my old sports bras, even though I know they're too small, just so that I've got something to wear that can keep them in place without hopefully touching too many things. But it's hard. It has been very difficult and very frustrating. And again, it's not because of Minion's fault. He's actually proving to be a really easy baby in that respect. He's really simple. His cues are easy to read. I am just in constant pain. My body is constantly fighting against me. If it's not my overactive bladder, if it's not my IBD, it's now this Raynauds condition or this Vasospasm, whatever it's called. It is really freaking frustrating because it means that I've got to keep my chest warm at all times to try and prevent this pain. So I've actually invested in these boob warmers, literally boob warmers. I don't know where these, like, these are just cheap things off Amazon, but I basically have to have these on my boobs like as soon as they start getting cold or not long after pumping to help warm them up and help reduce the pain. And then I have to wear this great big fluffy thing, which usually I don't mind, but I'm just getting so sweaty. But then my nipples are still cold. It's like, I can't win. And then on top of that, my nipples are constantly dripping. I am very much an overproducer. The lactation lead confirmed I am very much an overproducer. I produce a lot of milk and I'm actually having to reduce the amount I'm pumping to try and control my oversupply. I'm only allowed to pump once every 6 hours at the moment to try and reduce the oversupply. She did suggest maybe going even 9 hours, and I physically can't because once it goes past that 6 hours, my boobs are so engorged with milk, it is agonizingly painful. So I have to pump every 6 hours just to get it out, like reduce the engorgement. It's a really big battle, but it's a battle I was not anticipating. It's like I was expecting little one to be difficult and to have hard days and everything else. I was not expecting my own body to be fighting me the way it is. I was not expecting my own body to be attacking me and causing me to be in pain for absolutely no reason whatsoever other than the fact that it can't be bothered to actually use my blood vessels to their capacity. Anyway, that's how week 3's gone. There's been several occasions where I've really wanted to turn on the camera and get video clips of me crying when the emotion is raw, but at the same time I'm feeling so raw, I'm feeling so vulnerable and so emotional in those times. I don't have it in me to pick up the camera for YouTube, so I figured it'd be easy to just talk about it this way. I do need to try and get some exercise in tonight. I am severely overdue exercise. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Just yawning can cause stinging in the nipples. That's fun. I do need to get some exercise done tonight. Hi, Jinx. You've been fed. You don't need more food. But I do need to try and get some exercise done tonight because I've not done any exercise since Monday and my back is killing me. So even if I just do some mobility or some stretches, I need to do something tonight, which unfortunately means going back and putting a bra on, which I'm not looking forward to. Bras are so uncomfortable right now, and maternity bras are rubbish. Can I just say, maternity bras, oh, pardon me, maternity bras are things from hell. The maternity bras I have, they were the only maternity bras available in my size on like 5 different websites. I could not get any different kind of maternity bra, and they are the great ones that you can use for breastfeeding, that do the unclippy thing and everything's great, but the band, like the waistband or the chest band on them is this thin. This thing, that is no good for when your chest is this big. There is no support. My boobs, after a while, start falling through the bra because there is nothing there to stop it. There is nothing there to stop them from going down. And so before I know it, I'm having to, in public, trying to reach into my chest, try and reposition my boobs, which is then hurting like hell because everything is sliding around and grazing against my nipple. And then while I'm trying to reposition, they're unclipping and just falling, and then I'm having to redo it all again. I don't like maternity bras. I despise and hate maternity bras with a passion. They are freaking useless if you are of a bigger chest. I despise them. Anyway, rant over. I am going to leave this little newborn chatty update vlog here, and I am going to try and take 5-10 minutes to myself, try and put a bra on because it hurts, and then try and get some exercises done, which will be in a different video because I'm trying to keep my exercise content together and my newborn diaries separate from the exercise content. So I will see you in that video whenever it is out. But for now, that's it for this little update of how things are getting on with the newborn diaries. It's been hard. It's been 3 very different, very challenging weeks for varying different reasons. And I just want to say to all the other mothers out there that may be struggling with breastfeeding because of pain, you're not alone. It is hard. It is painful, and it shouldn't be. But if you are experiencing severe nipple pain when you're trying to breastfeed, consider speaking to an infant feeding specialist or even contacting your GP and potentially getting tested or looked into for Raynauds, because that could be a reason, or could be one of the reasons. If nothing else is working, if nipple shields aren't working, silver cups aren't working, everything else isn't working, nipple creams aren't working, you've tried everything, you know your latch is good and strong, you know you don't have any trauma to your nipples, and it still hurts like hell, consider getting in touch with your GP and getting tested for Raynauds. I am not a medical professional, I am not a specialist. This is just my personal experience and what has happened to me. I didn't know that Raynauds was a thing for the nipples, so I'm hoping that maybe someone who watches this video may get some education out of it and may discover something about themselves that they didn't know. Again, don't self-diagnose, go to a specialist or go to a GP, but if you are having severe nipple pain when everything else or everyone else is telling you everything is right and you're doing everything right and there's nothing else going on and you tried everything else, have a think about it, because that could be the answer.